Prospecting. If you want more deals, more leads, you gotta get out there and get them. That's what I'm talking about in part 4 of this 10-part series on how to get more real estate agent business. Let's go. All right, welcome to part 4 in this 10-part series on how to increase your real estate business. Whether you're a new agent or a more experienced agent, prospecting can get you more deals, all right? There's nothing more efficient, more effective than going out to potential buyers and sellers and getting more deals done through communication, on the phone, door knocking, open houses. So in this video, I'm gonna go over some of the ways that we have prospected to get more leads, get more deals. All right, one of the tried and true ways that we have done it, other people in our market and every market have done, is picking up the phone, all right? And I don't mean picking up the phone and, dialing numbers one by one, although there is a place for that, all right? I mean having a set time every morning where you hit the auto dialer. Get a system like RedX or Mojo or Vulcan Dialer. There's plenty of them out there. We've used a ton of them on our team, and call. All right, so who do you call? First of all, some disclaimers. You have to make sure that the auto dialer you're using scrubs the list on the do not call and all that good stuff, so you don't violate any rules. We do that. You should make sure you're doing that. It's not hard to implement. Some of the basic lists that we call, though, are expireds and withdrawns that are recent ones, expireds and withdrawns that are older, and then GEOFARMING. Geo calling, all right? I'll go over how those work, each one of those individually. First, expireds, recent one. That is a basic list you pull every day of the listings that expired or withdrew. In other words, their home was on the market for sale. Now it came, off the market for whatever reason, and you call them up. There's lots of good scripts up there, but you ask them if they still would accept an offer if they got, a market offer on their home. All right, try to establish timing and motivation. So ask them why they want to sell when they want to sell, right? As you try to book an appointment with them, you're going to tie back, to that timing, to that motivation. So you can tell them, Mr. and Mr. Seller, I want to meet with you to discuss how I can potentially get a great offer for your home so that you can get to Florida by this date, or do whatever, right? Do whatever the timing and motivation was. You're gonna have to, like all these lists, it just takes practice. The more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get. Our team has had a lot of success with expired and withdrawn. Now, this is not the largest portion of our calls. The largest portion of our calls is inbound leads. How do you get those? Well, you get those through marketing, which I'm gonna go into more detail in the next video in this series, part 5. But expireds and withdrawns do make up a good part of our business, and a lot of them come just from calling the list every morning. All right, the second list that you can call is expireds and withdrawns that were older, meaning they came off the market a year ago or 2 years ago and haven't relisted and sold. So pull those lists. A lot of times the agents that are good at calling, hit the recent list. And you'll notice when you start doing them, you might be the 4th or 5th person that day to call them, and that's okay. Just realize that might happen. But everyone's focused on these recent expireds and withdrawns. But what about the person trying to sell a year or 2 ago, right? They still might need your help. Maybe the reason they didn't sell 2 years ago was because their price was here and the market price was here. Maybe that gap is closed now. So call those lists that are a year or 2 old. The third list you can call is what we call a geo farm. In other words, you're targeting a geographic area. If it's an area you do a lot of business in, that's better, right? Because maybe they've seen a lot of your marketing, your open house signs, etc. A couple different ways you can reach out to these people. One, if you have an open house coming up or a new listing in the area, you can tell them about that and ask them if they know anyone that might want to move to their neighborhood. A lot of people would like to refer their neighbor, right? So that's a good strategy. When you're having that conversation with him, you can say, by the way, do you know anyone else, or are you considering selling in the next year, right? Just get that dialogue going. If you don't have open houses in the neighborhood, you can call them and just update them on sales activity. You can call them up and say, hey, did you know this house down the street from you just got this price? Do you know anyone, or are you considering selling your home in the next year? All right, that's a great method. By the way, you can also try door knocking. these same lists, these same areas, all right? Door knocking scripts are gonna be the same. If you're gonna take the time to door knock, you might as well bring flyers to leave behind, by the way. So that's another element to add to your prospecting. And finally, the last part of prospecting that I would like to talk about today that I think all agents should consider doing, depending on your market, of course, is open houses. Now, you might think open houses, that's not really prospecting, is it? It is. You're just prospecting less people, but they're more motivated people because they stepped into your open house, right? It's the same idea. You're meeting them face to face, right? You're having a conversation with them, determining their timing and motivation. Why are they in this open house? Were they just casually walking by, or did they look it up online? All right, so when they come in the open house, I always like to ask, how'd you find us today? Because that tells me a little bit more about their motivation. I also like to ask where they're living now. Again, that tells me, are they a move-up buyer? Are they a renter, a first-time buyer? So ask questions when they come into your open house. Establish timing and motivation, and then position yourself as someone that can solve the issues they have, solve the problem they have. Those are a couple of the basic ways that you can start to take your prospecting to new levels. The key is consistency. And that's true with everything I'm gonna talk about in this 10-part series. Consistency always wins out. Consistency makes you better and better. All right, you can't just try these techniques for a day, a week, a month even, and then expect to get good results. You gotta be consistent. If you take consistent action on anything I talked about in this video or any of the other videos in this series, you will dramatically increase your business. Make sure you stick around, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss part 5. I'm gonna go into some of the latest and greatest marketing techniques. I'll see you then.